I wanted to start by thanking everybody for coming out today. The support my family and I have received these past 3 weeks has been truly incredible, and we're so overwhelmed and are so grateful to have you all here. For those of you I do not know, my name is John Dombroski, and I am Mark's oldest brother. I still vividly remember the day Mark was born. My parents were at Bryn Mawr Hospital, and my brother Kevin and I were staying with our neighbors and close family friends, the Martinos. I remember hearing the phone ring, and Mrs. Martino answered and said it was for me. It was my mom. She said, "Guess what the baby is?" I remember so clearly thinking to myself, "Please be a boy, please be a boy, please be a boy." Just as I know my mom was thinking, "Please be a girl, please be a girl, please be a girl." My mom said I have a new baby brother. I was the happiest kid in the world. Couldn't wait to play with him and get a basketball and baseball bat in his hands. My brother, Mark Lee Dombroski, was named for his two wonderful grandmothers, Mary Margaret Lynn and Leona Dombroski. I guess by the third boy, my parents figured they weren't ever having to marry Leona, so they very happily welcomed Mark Lee. My parents used to go every summer on a charismatic weekend retreat. It was adults only, no kids, but they asked if they could bring their 8-month-old baby, and the retreat leader said yes. Some of you might be charismatic and know that the Holy Spirit can speak through people. During the concluding session of the retreat, one of the priests smiled and said the prophetic words, "The baby is a blessing," then turned directly to my parents and said, "Not just to you, but to many." Well, my brother Mark certainly brought a wonderful ray of sunshine into our family, and we know he has been a blessing to many, many others. We have heard countless stories of Mark's impact on others, friends' parents, classmates, teammates, relatives, neighbors, coaches, you name it. He was only on earth for 19 years, but he made them count. As you can easily tell from the countless awards and accolades, sports were always a tremendous part of Mark's life. He was an extremely gifted athlete. He earned 11 tournament MVP and coaches awards in 6 different sports. To Mark, sports were always about more than just winning, as I'm sure every one of his coaches and teammates in attendance will tell you. And trust me, there are a lot of them here today. As hard as the past few weeks have been, especially yesterday, the one ray of light for my family and I has been hearing and reading the countless Mark stories from his friends that we never knew. We always knew how special of a kid he was, but it's beautiful to hear how many other lives he impacted in such a positive way. So many different people came up to me and told me how they were always very shy or didn't have many friends, and Mark would always go out of his way to make them feel welcome and loved. Whether it was sitting down and having lunch with them or being a shoulder to cry on, Mark was there. A day or two after we found Mark and learned of his passing, my mom thought it would be nice to walk along the beach where Mark had been staying. He loved the beach so much. As we're walking along the beautiful pink sand beaches of Bermuda, I could tell my mom was thinking about Mark and becoming emotional. I didn't know what I could say or do to comfort her, but I tried by saying, "The night is darkest just before the dawn, and I promise you, the dawn is coming." My mom responded, "That's so beautiful. Is that from the Bible?" I didn't want to lie to her, so I told her the truth. I actually heard it in a Batman movie. Mark was always the first to try and help others. Last summer, as many of you know, I was involved in a terrible water skiing accident where my arm got tangled in the rope. I nearly lost my entire arm that day. And I remember floating in the water after being knocked unconscious for a few seconds and looking up, and the first sight I see is my brother Mark jumping in to try to help his big brother. People often assume I probably wasn't that close with Mark because of the age gap, almost 9 years. But that couldn't be further from the truth. I will especially cherish these past 6 months. Mark was enrolled in an accounting class during both the past fall and spring semesters. Once a week, he would Uber over to my apartment, and we would study and work on his accounting homework together, and then spend a few hours hanging out and catching up on life. Homework day with Mark quickly became my favorite day of the week. It's funny to think something as terrible and boring as financial accounting study session will always have such a special place in my heart. I'm going to leave you with one more movie quote from one of Mark's favorite movies, for obvious reasons, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. I don't want to get too sentimental and emotional, but I guess what I want to say is life is short. Spend as much time as you can with family and friends, and make sure you let them know how much you love them and how much they mean to you. Again, I cannot begin to express how grateful and thankful my family and I are to have each and every one of you here today celebrating Mark's life. It means the world to us. I love you, Mark.